Is filmmaking driving you insane? You're not alone. Filmmaking is a very complex process, and it can get you very, very overwhelmed with all the different elements that are uncontrollable. You see, the difference between someone just pointing a camera and filming something and what we call filmmaking is the curated process. We want to be able to control how the image looks. We want to control the story we're conveying. We want to control so many different parts of it and craft this beautiful piece to show to audiences.
What's up, ladies?
You know what? I am happy, because at least when I move out, I'll finally keep my door locked.
At least I knocked this time.
Why are you here? Rude.
I came to say my goodbyes.
Finally, someone who cares.
Nah, the real reason I'm here is because this shorty just moved in on my floor.
The problem is, there are things that are just totally out of our control, not because it's impossible to control, but because we may not have the tools to do it. And that's what I want to talk about today. The frustration you get from not having the tools that you think you need, or you probably do need to pull off a shot, a look, etc. Here's a perfect example. I have a podcast called It's Only Monday Podcast, but I wanted to film it a certain type of way, right? It's only Monday. I thought it'd be cool to be very bright, etc. Monday morning, or maybe have a sunrise type vibe where I'm shooting the podcast. But there was a problem. I don't have enough powerful lights. All my lights were very small wattage. I have a Nanlite 4-60, which isn't the strongest light, trying to combat the sun. And where I was filming my podcast in my house has very bright windows, which is amazing, backlight and stuff, but trying to expose for the windows, it was so hard to do and to get myself where you could see me. I went crazy a couple times trying to figure out how am I gonna light this. And I finally came to the conclusion that no matter how many lights I used, I didn't have enough powerful lights to combat my beautiful big windows. And I had to go back to the drawing board. So this is what I came up with. I could either, one, black out the windows and shoot on a Saturday afternoon, but very time consuming, and I better record like 50 episodes if I'm gonna do that, which is not really possible. So the other thing I could do was shoot at night, because at nighttime, my house is really dark. I can turn all the lights off. It's pitch black. And now my 4-60 that I was using as a key light can be way stronger and actually light me, which worked perfectly and got me out of my insanity. What does this give as advice and value to you guys? Well, right now you might be trying to work on a scene or try to create a project, and you're focusing on all the things and elements that you can't control, which is great because that's what filmmaking is about. The problem is if you're trying to control something totally uncontrollable, like the sun isn't something you're going to overpower with a 60-watt light. So you're going to need something way stronger. If you don't got the money, or you can't rent it, or you can't get that into where you're shooting, well, then you gotta think about plan B and plan C and other alternatives. This also goes into locations. If you're trying to shoot a short film and you're like, hey, I wanna shoot a short film, but I wanna do it in this beautiful mansion, but you have no access to mansions. Well, instead of trying to find one beautiful mansion, maybe you have a beautiful bedroom, and maybe your friend has a beautiful bathroom, and maybe you have a cousin that has a beautiful front yard of their house. You can maybe shoot in those different locations, and then in post-production, edit those together to look like it's actually one place. That's the power of filmmaking and bringing things together. And I think that's one of the most important things in filmmaking. It really is focusing on what you can control and not the things that you can't control, because you either will waste time trying to find a way to control it, which if you have the time and the access and the money and the manpower, etc., go ahead and do it by all means. But if you don't, you're a solo shooter, you're doing things by yourself, a low budget, or it's just a passion project, sometimes it was better to work with what you have. And the funny thing is no one really knows. Sometimes you might feel like, oh man, I'm failing. I wanted to light the scene beautifully, but I can't because I just don't have the things I need to do it. And you might feel like a failure because of it. But the thing is, nobody knows that. Your audience doesn't know that. They're just seeing what they see. So if you make a shot look beautiful and it's a nighttime shot, hey, That's all they know. They don't know that you wrestled with the sun for 2 weeks, seeing if you can light against it and find ways to bring your key light closer and closer without it being in frame. Yeah, I did that. So focusing on what you can control won't only let you yield better results because you're working within the parameters. There's also a level of creativity it brings, right? Video editing is my favorite part of the filmmaking process by far. That's how I started. And a lot of times the reason why I started shooting was so I can have footage to edit my own videos. As a video editor, you are a problem solver. But problem solving is in all parts of filmmaking. And the most important thing is you want to have fun doing your film. You don't want it to be stressful, because then every time it's becomes stressful, it's something you don't want to do. So to have a great time, creating your film, making it, it all comes down to focusing on the things that you can control and don't really sweat the things you can't control. Work with it. If the sun is too powerful and you can't light against the sun, find a way that you can light with the sun, maybe a more creative look like a silhouette or things like that, or work with it by waiting till the sun goes away or at a different time and shoot. Same thing goes with cameras, and I'm gonna have a whole other video about that, but there's times you're like, oh, I need a new camera, I need this type of camera, that type of camera to do it. But the things that you have, if you find a way to work with it the best of your ability and focus on other things as well that you can control, you can create something very, very amazing. And it is frustrating, it will frustrate you, and there are times where you may have to upgrade, and that's another video in itself. But before you get to that point with the things you have, see if you can create the things you need to create by doing the most important thing, which is focusing on what you can control and keep yourself stress-free. All right, that's what I got for you guys today. I'm your boy JT from Customatic. I feel so much better because, again, as you can see, I'm taking my own advice and I'm filming at nighttime where I can control my situation.